Results and those who stay stuck is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not background. It is the habits they have built. Every successful person, whether in business, sports, leadership, or personal growth, follows a set of principles that guide their actions. They are not waiting for motivation. They are not relying on chance. They have developed habits that make success inevitable. These habits are not about working harder. They are about working smarter. They are about consistently doing the right things over and over until the results show up. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack consistency. They start strong, but they do not follow through. They get excited about success, but they do not build the discipline to sustain it. But those who win in life, they understand that success is built daily, in the small choices, in the little moments, in the seemingly insignificant actions that add up over time. The key to success is not found in one big decision. It is found in the daily habits you commit to. Because your habits shape your future. Your habits determine whether you move forward or stay stuck. And if you can master the right habits, you can create success in any area of life. There are 10 core habits that will set you apart. 10 habits that, if you commit to them, will transform your mindset, your actions, and your results. These habits are not complicated. They are not out of reach. They are simple, repeatable, and proven. And once you integrate them into your life, you will never have to wonder whether success is possible for you, because you will be living it. The first habit that will make you successful is taking full responsibility for your life. Nothing will change until you decide that everything, your results, your failures, your progress, is up to you. Most people never reach their full potential because they spend too much time making excuses. They blame their circumstances. They blame other people. They blame their past. And as long as they do, they give away their power. But successful people, they do not waste energy blaming anything outside of themselves. They take ownership, complete, absolute, non-negotiable ownership of their actions, their decisions, and their results. Because when you take full responsibility, you take control. If something is not working, you fix it. If you make a mistake, you learn from it. If you are not where you want to be, you make adjustments instead of excuses. Most people wait. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, the right conditions. But waiting is a trap. Because the truth is, life does not get easier. There will always be obstacles, distractions, and unexpected challenges. And if you do not take responsibility for your progress, you will always have a reason to stay stuck. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I could be successful if only I had better opportunities? Or, I would be in better shape if only I had more time. Or, I would be happier if only other people treated me differently. Every time you use if only, you are telling yourself that something outside of you is in control. But the moment you shift your mindset and say, I am responsible for my success. I am responsible for my health. I am responsible for my happiness. Everything changes. Now, responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It means owning your response. It means that no matter what happens, you decide how to move forward. You cannot control the economy, but you can control how you adapt. You cannot control other people's actions, but you can control your own. You cannot change the past, but you can decide what to do next. And this is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Successful people take responsibility for their mindset. They do not let negativity control them. They do not waste time complaining. They focus on solutions, not problems. And because of that, they create progress, no matter what is happening around them. They take responsibility for their time. They do not make excuses about being too busy. They do not let distractions run their day. They decide what is important and they follow through consistently. They take responsibility for their energy. They do not let exhaustion or stress be an excuse. They take care of their body, their mind, and their emotions. Because they understand that if they are not at their best, they cannot perform at their best. And most importantly, they take responsibility for their results. If they fail, they do not blame the system. If they lose, they do not blame bad luck. They look in the mirror, they analyze what went wrong, and they improve. So ask yourself, am I taking full responsibility for my life, or am I making excuses? Because the moment you stop blaming and start owning, success is no longer a question of if, it becomes a question of when. Next, the second habit that will make you successful is developing relentless self-discipline. Nothing separates those who succeed from those who fail more than discipline. Talent is useless without discipline. Intelligence is wasted without discipline. Even motivation fades without discipline. Because discipline is what keeps you moving forward when you do not feel like it. Most people struggle to be consistent because they rely too much on motivation. They wait until they feel like taking action. They wait until they are inspired. But successful people, they do not wait. They act. Discipline means you do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. If you say you're going to wake up early, you wake up early. If you commit to working on your goals, you follow through. If you set a standard for yourself, you do not negotiate with your emotions. Because once you start negotiating with yourself, you lose. Most people wake up every day and ask themselves, do I feel like doing this today? And if the answer is no, they make excuses. But disciplined people do not ask how they feel. They do not waste time debating. They follow through because they have already decided. Think about the people who are at the top of their game. Athletes, leaders, high achievers. They are not the most motivated every single day. They do not feel like training, working, pushing themselves all the time. But they do it anyway, because they know that success does not care how you feel. Now, how do you build discipline? How do you train yourself to follow through, even when you do not feel like it? First, you start small. Most people fail because they try to change everything overnight. They make a long list of goals, set unrealistic expectations, and then burn out. But discipline is not built through massive action. It is built through small, consistent wins. If you struggle with waking up early, do not set your alarm 2 hours earlier on the first day. Start with 15 minutes. If you want to work out consistently, do not aim for an hour-long session. Start with 10 minutes. If you want to read more, do not force yourself to read for hours. Start with 5 pages a day. Small actions build momentum. And once you prove to yourself that you can follow through, discipline becomes a habit. Second, you remove choices. The reason most people fail is that they give themselves too many options. They leave room for negotiation. Should I work out today or take a break? Should I eat healthy or just start tomorrow? And every time they give themselves a choice, they make an excuse. But successful people do not waste energy debating with themselves. They make decisions in advance. They remove the option to quit. They structure their environment so that the only thing they can do is move forward. Discipline is not about being strong all the time. It is about removing the need for willpower altogether. Third, you commit to one rule: never miss twice. No one is perfect. Even the most disciplined people have days where they slip. They miss a workout. They get distracted. They fall off track. But the difference is, they do not let one bad day turn into a bad week. If you miss a workout, you do not miss the next one. If you have a bad eating day, you get back on track at the next meal. If you waste time, you correct it immediately. The people who fail are the ones who let small mistakes turn into complete failure. They let one missed day convince them that they have lost all progress. But success is not about being perfect. It is about getting back on track faster than anyone else. It is about getting back on track faster than anyone else. And here's the final truth about discipline. It is built through repetition. The first time you wake up early, it is hard. The 10th time, it is easier. The 100th time, it is who you are. The first time you say no to distractions, it takes effort. The 10th time, it becomes natural. The 100th time, you do not even think about it. So ask yourself, am I acting based on how I feel, or am I acting based on my commitment? Because the moment you stop making excuses and start showing up, whether you feel like it or not, is the moment success is no longer a question of luck. It becomes inevitable. Next. The third habit that will make you successful is setting clear, specific goals and executing relentlessly. Success does not happen by accident. It does not come from vague wishes or general intentions. It comes from clarity. It comes from knowing exactly what you want and taking action toward it every single day. Most people fail, not because they lack ambition, but because they lack direction. They say they want to be successful, but they do not define what success looks like. They say they want to make more money, but they do not set a clear target. They say they want to improve their life, but they do not create a plan. And because of that, they drift. But successful people, they are precise. They set goals that are specific, measurable, and actionable. They do not say, I want to be rich. They say, I will earn $100,000 in the next 12 months by increasing my sales and launching 2 new income streams. They do not say, I want to be healthier. They say, I will work out 4 times a week and eat clean meals 6 days a week. Because when your goals are vague, your results will be vague. But when your goals are crystal clear, your mind knows exactly what to work toward. Now, setting goals is just the first step. The second step, the part where most people fail, is execution. Most people get excited about setting goals, but they do not build the discipline to follow through. They write things down. They talk about what they want. But when it comes time to take action, they hesitate. They overthink. They procrastinate. But successful people, they do not just set goals. They execute relentlessly. They do not wait until they feel ready. They do not sit around waiting for perfect conditions. They start, they take action, they build momentum. And here's the key. They focus on progress, not perfection. Most people get stuck because they are waiting to have all the answers before they begin. They overanalyze every detail. They fear making mistakes. And because of that, they never move forward. But those who succeed understand that imperfect action is better than perfect hesitation. They know that no plan survives first contact with reality. So instead of trying to create the perfect strategy, they take action, they adapt, and they refine as they go. Now, how do you turn this into a habit? How do you make sure you are always moving toward your goals instead of just thinking about them? First, write down your goals every single day. Not once. Not just at the beginning of the year. Every day. Because repetition reinforces clarity. The more you write your goals, the more they stay at the front of your mind. And when they are at the front of your mind, your actions will naturally align with them. Second, break your goals into daily actions. Most people fail because they focus only on the big picture, the final result. But success does not come from big leaps. It comes from small, consistent steps. If your goal is to build a successful business, what are you doing today to make that happen? If your goal is to get in shape, what are you eating today? If your goal is to develop a new skill, how much time are you practicing today? Your future is created by what you do daily, not what you plan to do someday. Third, hold yourself accountable. Track your progress. Measure your results. If you are not getting closer to your goal, ask yourself why. Are you truly putting in the effort? Are you making excuses? Are you letting distractions pull you off track? Because what gets measured gets improved. If you track your progress, you will know exactly what is working and what is not. And if something is not working, you adjust, you refine, you course correct, but you never stop moving forward. And finally, commit to execution, no matter what. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. If they do not feel like working, they don't. If they feel tired, they take the day off. But success is not about how you feel in the moment. It is about what you commit to, regardless of how you feel. So ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with my goals? Am I moving forward, or am I just thinking about it? Because the people who succeed are the ones who act. Not just when they are motivated, not just when things are easy, but every single day. Next. The fourth habit that will make you successful is mastering your time with ruthless efficiency. Time is the most valuable resource you have. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose opportunities and create new ones. But time, once it's gone forever. Most people do not control their time. They let their time control them. They start their day without a plan. They react to distractions. They waste hours on things that do not move them forward. But successful people, they treat time like an investment. They do not waste it. They do not spend it mindlessly. They leverage it. Every minute of your day is either moving you closer to your goals or further away. And if you do not take control of how you spend your time, success will always feel out of reach. So how do you master your time? First, plan your day before it starts. Most people wake up and let the day happen to them. They wait until they feel motivated to get started. But successful people, they do not wait. They decide in advance what their day will look like. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to write down your top priorities for the next day. Not 10 things, not 20 things, 3 to 5 high-impact tasks, the things that will move you forward the fastest. If you wake up without a plan, distractions will fill the space. But if you start your day with clarity, you start with momentum. Second, eliminate low-value activities. Most people do not struggle with time because they are too busy. They struggle because they spend too much time on things that do not matter. Look at how you spend your time. How many hours do you lose to distractions, to meaningless conversations, to tasks that could be automated, delegated, or eliminated? Success is not about doing more. It is about doing less, but better. If something does not directly move you toward your goals, ask yourself, do I need to do this? Can someone else do it? What happens if I eliminate it completely? The most successful people are not the busiest. They are the most focused. Third, protect your peak hours. Every person has certain hours in the day when they are at their best, when their energy is highest, when their mind is sharpest, when they do their best work. But successful people, they use their peak hours for deep work. No distractions, no interruptions, just pure focus on high-impact tasks. Identify your peak hours and protect them at all costs. Block distractions. Create a sacred time for execution. Because if you do this consistently, you will accomplish more in a few hours than most people do in an entire week. Fourth, use Time blocking. Most people work in a scattered, reactive way. They jump from task to task. They check their phone. They answer messages. They multitask, thinking they are being productive, when in reality, they are wasting time. But successful people, they batch their time. They block it. They schedule deep work, just like they schedule meetings. They decide in advance when they will work, when they will rest, when they will train, when they will plan. And because they are intentional, they get more done in less time. If you are constantly distracted, constantly switching between tasks, constantly feeling like there is never enough time, start blocking your time. Decide when you will work. Decide when you will rest. Stick to it. And here is the key. Learn to say no. Time is your most valuable asset. If you do not protect it, other people will waste it for you. Every request, every meeting, every invitation, every favor, it all takes time. And if you say yes to everything, you are saying no to your own goals. Successful people say no more than they say yes. They say no to distractions. They say no to pointless meetings. They say no to anything that does not align with their vision. Because they understand that every yes is a trade-off. So ask yourself, am I controlling my time, or is my time controlling me? Because the people who master their time master their results. And when you master your results, success is no longer a question of if, it is a question of when. The fifth habit that will make you successful is controlling your mindset, no matter what happens around you. Your mind is the foundation of your success. It determines how you see opportunities, how you handle setbacks, how you push forward when things get tough. Most people never reach their full potential because they allow their mindset to be shaped by circumstances. When things go well, they feel motivated. When things go wrong, they feel discouraged. They let external situations dictate their thoughts, emotions, and actions. But successful people, they take control of their internal world no matter what happens in their external world. They do not let fear stop them. They do not let negativity distract them. They do not let failure define them because they understand that mindset is a choice. And if you do not control your mind, the world will control it for you. The first step to mastering your mindset is controlling what you focus on. Your mind is like a camera. Whatever you zoom in on becomes your reality. If you focus on problems, you will feel stuck. If you focus on what you lack, you will feel like nothing is enough. If you focus on what could go wrong, you will be too afraid to take action. But if you focus on solutions, you will find a way forward. If you focus on what you can control, you will always have power. If you focus on what is possible, you will take action instead of making excuses. Every single day, ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Is it helping me or hurting me? Because whatever you focus on, you will find more of. The second step is guarding your mind from negativity. Negativity is everywhere. The news, social media, conversations filled with complaining, gossip, and excuses. And most people consume negativity without even realizing it. They let other people's fears, doubts, and limitations sink into their subconscious mind. But successful people, they are ruthless about what they allow into their mind. They do not waste time on negativity. They do not engage in drama. They do not listen to people who tell them what they can't do, because they know that if they surround themselves with negativity, it will drain their energy, lower their standards, and kill their ambition. So ask yourself, what am I allowing into my mind? Are the people around me lifting me up or holding me back? Because if you want to stay focused, you must protect your energy. And that starts with eliminating negativity at the source. The third step is training your mind to handle failure differently. Most people see failure as a reason to quit. They take setbacks personally. They let rejection destroy their confidence. They let one mistake convince them they are not good enough. But successful people, they see failure as feedback. They see rejection as redirection. They see every setback as a lesson that makes them stronger. They understand that failure is part of success, that no one wins without losing first, that no one gets it right on the first try, that every mistake is just another step toward mastery. So when things go wrong, they do not complain. They do not dwell on what happened. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust? How can I come back even stronger? And because they see failure differently, they keep going while others give up. And here's the final step. Train your mind every single day. Just like you train your body, you must train your mind. Success is not about having the right mindset once. It is about conditioning your mind to stay strong every day. Feed your mind with powerful ideas. Read books that challenge your thinking. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. Take control of your inner dialogue. Replace doubt with belief, fear with confidence, excuses with action. Because your mind will either push you forward or hold you back. And if you do not train it to work for you, it will work against you. So ask yourself, am I in control of my mindset? Or is my mindset controlling me? Because success starts in the mind. And once you master your mindset, everything else follows. Next, the sixth habit that will make you successful is building unshakable confidence through action. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is not something some people naturally have while others don't. Confidence is built. It is a skill. And just like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. Most people believe they need to feel confident before they take action. They think they need to wait until they are ready. But successful people, they know the opposite is true. Confidence does not come from waiting. It comes from doing. You do not become confident by thinking about success. You become confident by taking action toward it. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every time you take action, despite fear, you become stronger. And over time, those small wins build unshakable confidence. Now, most people struggle with confidence because they are trapped in a cycle of hesitation. They overthink everything. They wait for the perfect time. They analyze every possible outcome. And in the process, they paralyze themselves. They convince themselves they are not ready. They create self-doubt by doing nothing. They create self-doubt by doing nothing. But successful people break this cycle by acting before they feel ready. They take the first step, even when they are unsure. They move forward, even when they do not have all the answers. And by taking action, they build confidence in real time. So if you want to become more confident, stop waiting to feel ready. Start moving. Now, how do you turn this into a habit? How do you make confidence something that grows every single day? First, start small and stack wins. Confidence does not come from big victories. It comes from small daily actions that prove you can trust yourself. If you want to speak with more confidence, start by speaking up in small situations. If you want to feel more confident in your skills, practice a little bit every day. If you want to take bolder action, begin with something manageable and build from there. Every time you follow through, your mind records a win. And when you stack enough wins, confidence becomes who you are. Second, eliminate self-doubt by taking control of your inner dialogue. Most people destroy their own confidence because they talk to themselves like an enemy. They say, I am not good enough. I always mess up. What if I fail? And because they repeat these thoughts, they believe them. But successful people control their self-talk. They replace doubt with belief. They repeat affirmations that reinforce their confidence. They do not allow negative thoughts to take root. If you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, replace it immediately with, I am capable. I figure things out. I always find a way. Your mind believes what you tell it most often. And if you control your self-talk, you control your confidence. Third, condition yourself to take action quickly. Confidence is built through action, and action happens faster when you do not allow hesitation to creep in. Most people hesitate too long. They think about making a decision. They analyze every possible problem, and the longer they hesitate, the harder it becomes to act. Successful people do not give hesitation a chance to grow. They shorten the gap between thought and action. They count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and they move. They do not wait until they feel comfortable. They do not wait for perfect timing. They take action now. And the more they do this, the easier it becomes. Fourth, visualize success instead of failure. Most people focus on what could go wrong. They imagine failure. They see the worst case scenario. And by doing that, they program their mind for fear. But successful people, they mentally rehearse winning. They see themselves succeeding before it happens. They visualize handling challenges with confidence. They condition their mind to expect success. So when they take action, their body follows. Before you step into a challenge, see yourself winning. Before you walk into a meeting, visualize confidence. Before you take action, play out success in your mind. Your brain does not know the difference between imagined success and real success. And when you visualize success enough, confidence becomes automatic. And here's the final piece. Stop seeking approval from others. Most people never develop true confidence because they care too much about what others think. They want validation. They fear judgment. And because of that, they hesitate. They shrink. They hold back. But successful people, they trust themselves first. They do not need external approval to take action. They do not wait for permission. They believe in their decisions, and that belief creates confidence. So ask yourself, am I waiting to feel confident? Or am I building confidence through action? Because confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn, one action at a time. Next. The seventh habit that will make you successful is embracing discomfort and seeking challenges instead of avoiding them. Growth does not happen in comfort. Success does not come from staying where you are. Every person who has ever achieved something great had to go through discomfort. They had to push through fear. They had to take action when they felt uncertain. They had to do things that were hard before they became easy. Most people avoid discomfort. They seek the easiest path. They wait until they feel ready. They stay in situations that feel safe, even if those situations are not moving them forward. But successful people, they run toward discomfort. They understand that every time they push themselves into something difficult, they grow. Every time they step outside their comfort zone, they get stronger. Every time they face a challenge instead of avoiding it, they expand their limits. Because growth is just on the other side of discomfort. And if you are not uncomfortable, you are not growing. Now, how do you turn this into a habit? How do you train yourself to seek discomfort instead of avoiding it? First, reframe discomfort as progress. Most people associate discomfort with failure. They think, if this is hard, I must not be good at it. But successful people think, if this is hard, that means I am getting better. Every difficult workout makes you stronger. Every challenging project makes you sharper. Every uncomfortable conversation builds confidence. When you feel resistance, when you feel struggle, when you feel fear, that is proof that you are moving forward. That is evidence that you are growing. Second, make discomfort a daily practice. If you avoid discomfort for too long, it becomes harder to face. If you stop challenging yourself, your mind starts seeking comfort as the default. And before you know it, you are stuck in the same place for years. But if you practice discomfort daily, you train your mind to handle it with ease. Start small. Do something uncomfortable every day. Take a cold shower. Wake up an hour earlier. Have a difficult conversation you have been avoiding. Push yourself in your workouts. Speak up when you normally would not. Challenge yourself in some way every single day. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the easier it becomes. And over time, discomfort stops feeling like something to fear. It starts feeling normal. Third, build a habit of saying yes to challenges before you have all the answers. Most people hesitate. They overthink. They wait until they feel ready. But successful people commit before they feel ready, and then they figure it out along the way. They take the job before they know every detail. They accept the opportunity before they feel 100% prepared. They step into uncertainty knowing that they will rise to the challenge. Because here's the truth. Growth comes from solving problems. And if you only take on challenges that feel easy, you will never grow beyond where you are right now. Fourth, surround yourself with people who push you, not people who let you stay comfortable. If you spend time with people who avoid challenges, you will adopt the same mindset. If the people around you always make excuses, you will start making excuses. If they never push themselves, you will feel comfortable doing the same. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge themselves, you will be forced to level up. If the people around you are constantly growing, you will feel compelled to grow too. Find people who set high standards, who take risks, who push themselves beyond their limits. Because when you are in an environment that demands growth, you will grow. And finally, get excited about discomfort. Most people fear discomfort. They try to avoid it as much as possible, but successful people chase it. They get excited about things that challenge them. They actively seek out new difficulties because they want to grow. They train their mind to see obstacles as opportunities. They develop the habit of embracing struggle instead of running from it. So the next time you feel discomfort, do not avoid it. Step into it. Lean into it. Get excited about it. Because on the other side of discomfort is the person you are meant to become. So ask yourself, am I avoiding discomfort or am I using it to grow? Because the most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided challenges. They are the ones who conquer them. Next, the eighth habit that will make you successful is developing an obsession with learning and self-improvement. Success is not about what you know. It is about how fast you can learn. The world is always changing. Industries evolve. Opportunities shift. New skills become necessary. And if you stop learning, you stop growing. If you stop growing, you start falling behind. Most people learn just enough to get by. They finish school, get a job, and then stop. They assume that once they have reached a certain level, they no longer need to improve. But successful people, they never stop learning. They know that the more they grow, the more valuable they become. The more valuable they become, the greater their opportunities. And the greater their opportunities, the more success they create. Now, how do you develop the habit of constant learning? How do you turn growth into something that happens every day? First, commit to lifelong learning. No exceptions, no excuses. Most people treat learning as something they do occasionally. They read a book once in a while. They watch a few educational videos when they feel like it. But successful people treat learning as a daily ritual. They read every day. They seek new knowledge constantly. They ask better questions. They surround themselves with people who push them to grow, because they know that if they stop learning, they stop winning. If you are not actively improving, you are falling behind. So ask yourself, what did I learn today that made me better than I was yesterday? Second, read like your future depends on it, because it does. The most successful people in the world have one thing in common. They are all obsessive readers. They devour books. They study biographies of great leaders. They read about business, psychology, personal development history, anything that expands their thinking. Why? Because reading gives you access to decades of knowledge in just a few hours. It allows you to learn from the failures and successes of others without making the same mistakes yourself. If you are serious about success, reading is non-negotiable. Even just 20 minutes a day compounds into massive growth over time. Third, surround yourself with people who challenge you to think bigger. You will not grow if you are always the smartest person in the room. If the people around you are not learning, you will not feel the need to learn. If the people around you are not improving, you will stay stagnant. But if you surround yourself with people who are always growing, you will automatically start growing too. Successful people seek out mentors. They connect with people who have already achieved what they want to achieve. They ask better questions. They expose themselves to new ideas because they understand that their environment determines their growth. Look at your circle. Are the people around you challenging you to get better, or are they keeping you at the same level? Fourth, apply what you learn immediately. Knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Most people read books, watch videos, listen to advice, but they never take action. They collect information without using it. And because of that, they stay exactly where they are. But successful people, the moment they learn something new, they find a way to apply it. They test ideas. They experiment. They take action before they feel completely ready, because they know that learning without action is just entertainment. So the next time you learn something valuable, ask yourself, how can I use this today? Fifth, turn failure into feedback. The greatest lessons do not come from books or mentors. They come from experience. And most importantly, they come from failure. Most people fear failure. They avoid mistakes. They do not take risks because they do not want to get things wrong. But successful people, they see failure as their greatest teacher. They analyze every setback. They ask, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? How can I improve next time? They do not let failure break them. They let it build them. And because they are willing to fail, they are able to learn faster than everyone else. Finally, stay humble enough to keep learning, no matter how successful you become. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Most people reach a certain level of success and get comfortable. They think they have it all figured out. They stop studying, they stop improving, they stop evolving. And the moment they do, they start to decline. But successful people, they never stop learning. Even when they are at the top of their field, they stay curious. They ask questions. They seek feedback. They approach life with the mindset of a student, not an expert. So ask yourself, am I learning every day, or am I staying the same? Because the most successful people in the world are not the ones who knew it all. They are the ones who never stopped learning. The ninth habit that will make you successful is practicing extreme consistency, doing the right things every single day, no matter what. Success is not about what you do once in a while. It is not about working hard for a few days, then getting distracted. It is not about giving 100% effort one week, then losing focus the next. Success comes from what you do daily. It comes from relentless consistency. Most people fail, not because they do not know what to do, but because they do not do it consistently. They start working out, but after 2 weeks, they quit. They set goals, but they lose motivation. They take action when they feel like it, but when things get hard, they stop. But successful people, they show up every single day. They do not make excuses. They do not let distractions pull them away. They do not allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Because they understand that small, consistent actions create massive results over time. Now, how do you develop extreme consistency? How do you train yourself to follow through on your habits and routines every day, no matter what? First, remove emotion from your decisions. Most people rely on how they feel to determine what they do. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they feel tired, they slack off. If they feel inspired, they take action. If they do not, they procrastinate. But successful people, they do not ask themselves, do I feel like doing this today? They just do it. They understand that if you only act when you feel like it, you will never be consistent. Second, focus on process, not perfection. Most people quit because they expect instant results. They go to the gym for a week and see no change, so they stop. They start a new habit, but when they do not see immediate success, they give up. But successful people, they understand that consistency beats intensity. They do not need to see results right away. They trust the process. They focus on doing the right things over and over, knowing that success will come. Because here's the truth. Success is a delayed effect. You do not see the results of your habits immediately. They build over time. Like water boiling, nothing seems to be happening at first. But if you keep applying heat, eventually transformation happens. Third, eliminate distractions that break consistency. Most people struggle with consistency because they allow too many distractions into their life. They try to build a habit, but they let their phone pull them away. They try to stay disciplined, but they surround themselves with people who make excuses. They try to focus, but they do not protect their environment. Successful people create systems that protect their habits. They remove temptations. They block distractions. They design their life in a way that makes sticking to good habits easier than breaking them. If you want to be more consistent, do not rely on willpower. Design your environment so that consistency happens automatically. Fourth, build a streak and never break it. One of the most powerful ways to build consistency is to create visual progress. Keep track of your daily habits. Use a calendar, a notebook, anything where you can physically see your streak growing. And once you build momentum, do not break it. Even on the hardest days, find a way to keep your streak alive. Even if you cannot do the full habit, do something. Because the moment you allow yourself to skip once, skipping again becomes easier. Fifth, never miss twice. Even the most disciplined people have off days. They get sick. They have emergencies. They miss a workout, a task, or a habit. But the difference is, they never let it happen twice. If they miss one workout, they do not miss the next one. If they have a bad eating day, they get back on track immediately. If they waste time, they correct it the next day. Most people fail because they let one bad day turn into a bad week, then a bad month. But successful people correct their mistakes immediately. And finally, treat consistency like your identity. If you see yourself as someone who tries to be consistent, you will always struggle. But if you see yourself as someone who is consistent, you will not have to force it. it will become who you are. So ask yourself, am I consistent or am I just motivated once in a while? Because the people who win in life are not the most talented. They're not the luckiest. They are the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. Next, the 10th habit that will make you successful is giving more value than you take, always finding ways to serve, contribute, and make a difference. The most successful people in the world are not just focused on what they can get. They focus on what they can give. They understand that success is not just about money, status, or personal gain. It is about impact. It is about creating something that benefits others. It is about adding so much value that success becomes inevitable. Most people approach life with a scarcity mindset. They think there is only so much success to go around. They hold back. They take shortcuts. They try to win at the expense of others. But the most successful people, they operate from abundance. They do not fear competition because they know the more value they create, the more success will come back to them. They do not chase money. They chase excellence, and money follows. They do not wait for opportunities. They create them by being so valuable that they cannot be ignored. Now, how do you make this a habit? How do you train yourself to always give more than you take? First, focus on serving before selling. Most people try to take before they give. They ask for favors. They expect rewards. They focus on what's in it for them. But successful people, they serve first. If they are in business, they deliver massive value before asking for the sale. If they want to build relationships, they give before they expect anything in return. If they want to grow their influence, they share knowledge freely. They know that the more people they help, the more success will come back to them. Not because they are keeping score, but because value creates demand. Second, become the best at what you do so that your value is undeniable. If you want to be successful, do not just be average. Do not just do the bare minimum. Become so good at what you do that people want to work with you. If you are in business, deliver service that goes above and beyond expectations. If you are building a career, develop skills that set you apart. If you are creating something, make it the best it can possibly be. The more valuable you are, the more opportunities come your way. Because people want to work with the best. They want to pay for excellence. They want to be around those who make things better. Third, listen more than you speak. Because true value comes from understanding what people actually need. Most people do not listen. They wait for their turn to talk. They assume they already know the answers. But successful people, they pay attention. They listen deeply to their customers, their clients, their audience, their team. They do not guess what people want, they study it. And because of that, they create solutions that actually matter. If you want to give more value, stop thinking about what you think people need. Start listening to what they actually need. Fourth, develop a long-term mindset. Because real success is built over time, not overnight. Most people want quick success. They want fast results. They focus on short-term gains instead of long-term impact. But successful people, they think years ahead. They build relationships that last. They make decisions that will pay off long after today. They plant seeds that will grow into massive opportunities. Because they know that true success is not about winning today. It is about winning for a lifetime. And finally, give without expecting immediate rewards, but trust that the rewards will come. The world operates on value exchange. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you contribute, the more opportunities find you. The more people you help, the more success flows back to you. But here's the key. You must give without expectation. If you help people only because you are looking for something in return, it will not work. But if you genuinely create value, if you consistently make things better for others, if you build your life around contribution, success will chase you. So ask yourself, am I focused on getting or am I focused on giving? Because the people who create massive success are the ones who create massive value. Success is not a mystery. It is not reserved for a lucky few. It is not something that happens by accident. Success is built. It is created by habits, small, consistent actions repeated every single day. The people who win in life are not the most talented. They are not the luckiest. They are the ones who commit to the right habits, no matter what. They take full responsibility for their life. They develop relentless self-discipline. They set clear goals and execute without hesitation. They master their time. They control their mindset. They build unshakable confidence through action. They embrace discomfort instead of avoiding it. They never stop learning. They stay consistent even when no one is watching, and they give more value than they take. These habits are simple, but simple does not mean easy. Most people will never follow through. Most people will make excuses. Most people will wait for the perfect time that never comes. But those who commit, those who decide, those who take action every single day, they will create a life most people only dream of. So ask yourself, which of these habits am I building? Where am I making excuses? What can I change starting today? Because at the end of the day, success is not about luck. It is about what you do every single day.